Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm looking forward to bringing you today's Pilates slash yoga, maybe a little bit more yoga, inspired core and stretch. We're going to get started in just about 1 minute on the floor in child's pose. You don't need any weights today. I do encourage you to have a block nearby. You don't have to have a block though, so please don't run away if you don't have one. Also, perhaps to put some music on for yourself, any genre that makes you happy, and have some water nearby. It's only 30 minutes. Grab a sip now. If you need to take a sip during class, totally okay. As always, I encourage you to ask yourself, am I drinking water because I'm really thirsty right now? Or am I drinking water because we're maybe doing a move that I find to be a little challenging physically, emotionally, mentally, and I'm reaching for that water to take a break because I know I've been there. I imagine you've been there at some point too. Grab that sip of water right now before we get started, and let's come on down to the floor. Great. As you get here, open your knees as wide as makes you happy today. You can bring your toes a little closer towards each other. Start to walk your hands forward. Release your head down towards the mat. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. You can walk your hands as far forward as feels good for you. If you want a little extra stretch through the shoulders, think about tenting your fingers and pressing the pads into the floor as you create some length in your back and stretch glutes towards your heels. And if you want something a little bit more passive, remember you can take as generous of a bend in your arms. Just start to slow your breath down, perhaps breathing in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Go ahead, walk your hands underneath of your shoulders and press yourself up into a neutral tabletop. Spread your fingers really nice and wide, elbow creases shining towards each other. So maybe there's even a slight bend in your elbows. Take out any rounding or curvature in your back and a little engagement of the core, maybe even pressing the tops of the feet into the floor, pressing the tops of your toes into the floor, finding that extra engagement through everything that's making contact with the mat can help you find a little bit more lift in your chest, in your shoulders, to make sure you're not sinking down there. Eye gaze gently forward in front of you. And now from here, on your inhale, bring the weight forward, still pressing the pads of the fingers on the floor. Don't let the palms lift up. And on your exhale, gently bring it back. Let's do it two more times, just like that. Inhale, coming forward, chest coming towards the triceps. Exhale, go back. One more time. Inhale, come forward. Exhale back to your neutral tabletop. Go ahead, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Take a nice pedal through your heels. You know what? You can take a nasty pedal through your heels if you want. Let's just go ahead and pedal through your heels. Check in to see if you're sinking into your shoulders at all. Can you create a little bit more space, pushing your palms into the floor? Maybe lower belly comes a little bit more towards your thighs and still this chance to pedal through your heels. Take a moment, bring yourself as high up on your toes as possible, lifting through your heels, and then exhale, working to bring heels towards the floor. Two more times. Inhale as high up on your toes as you can. You might even feel your belly talking to you as you're getting a little stimulation. Awesome. This last time, start to walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. Probably more advantageous to come towards the top of the mat. Once you get there, we're going to inhale into a half lift. Find a nice flat back, long spine, glute stretch towards the back of the room. Hands might be on your thighs or they might be on your shin. Exhale back down into your forward fold. Shift a little bit more weight towards your toes. Hips come up. Take a moment. Shake your head. No. Shake your head. Yes. And take 3 breaths here to breathe into the back side of your ribs. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and down. Once again, just like you had in down dog. So there's still a lot of engagement in your mid back. And then shift the weight to your heels. Slowly roll yourself all the way up. At the top, take a big inhale, arms come up overhead. And at the bottom, exhale, arms come down by your sides. Keep your arms down by your side in mountains. Great. One more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. You can rain your fingers down or swan dive down towards the floor. Inhale into your half lift, press through your heels, find your flat back, open up your chest. Exhale down to your forward fold. Keep your left leg where it is. Step your right foot back. Ball the foot's on the floor. Inhale, lift yourself up into a nice crescent lunge. Find a large bend in your left leg. And then exhale, rain your fingers back down towards the floor. Inhale, step your right leg up to meet with the left. Exhale, down to your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold one more time. Again, some good stretches in the hamstring. And then inhale, roll yourself all the way up. Arms come up overhead, palms come together. Exhale, arms come down by your side, fingers stretch down to the floor, decompress through your shoulders. Squeeze your glutes, keep hips forward. Really ground through your feet. Can you find some engagement in your quads right now? In the squeeze of your glute, your lower half is solid like a tree trunk. Turn your hands, palms forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rain your fingers or swan dive forward. Pull your belly in, protect your back. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale back down to your forward fold. Keep your right foot where it is. Send your left leg back behind you, coming into your crescent lunge. Inhale, arms all the way up overhead. Keep your left hip forward. Really focus on squeezing your inner thighs in towards each other. Maybe a slightly more generous bend of the right leg. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Inhale, step your left leg to meet with the right. Come into your half lift right away. Exhale down to your forward fold. Inhale, slowly, gently roll yourself all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Take a moment. Don't move in your mountain pose. Once again, ground through your feet. Squeeze your glutes. Push hips forward. Contract your quads. Open your chest. Pull your belly in. So many things to think about. Let's do one more quick little flow. Turn your hands, palms forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rain or swan dive down to the floor. Inhale up into your half lift. Exhale down into your forward fold. Hands come to the floor. Left foot stays where it is. Step your right leg back. Bend the left knee. Inhale up into your crescent lunge. Squeeze that right hip in as much as possible. Don't let it open up yet. And then now we're going to turn the right ankle, open the arms, come into warrior two. Flip your front palm forward, look at your hands, inhale, arms come up to reverse your warrior. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, sweep your right hand down, turn on your right ball of the foot, back to your crescent lunge. Exhale, right hands come down towards the floor. Inhale as you step your right forward and come into your half lift. Exhale down to your forward fold. Inhale, slowly, gently roll yourself all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms relax down by your side as you squeeze your glutes, hips press forward, chest lifts, belly draws in. Hands, palms forward once again. Inhale up. Exhale, rain or swan dive down. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale into your forward fold. Right foot stays where it is. Step your left foot back. Ball of the foot comes down to the floor. Inhale, arms up. Come into your crescent lunge. Squeeze that left hip in. Lift your chest. Open your arms. Left arm comes to the back. Turn your foot. Come into your warrior two. Look over your right hand fingertips in front of you. Palm faces up towards the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Fingers can trace down your legs or a nice little half bind. Whew. And then back into your warrior two, like the arms of a clock. Left hand is going to come down and forward as right arm comes up. Turn on your left foot, squeeze that hip in once again, back to your crescent lunge. Inhale, lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step your left leg to meet with your right. Come into your half lift. Exhale, forward fold one more time. Hands come down towards the floor. Step or jump back. Come on into a plank. And then if you want, you can try a chaturanga, either lowering yourself down into a push-up and coming down, or coming down onto your knees, lower, lower, lower. Take a moment, hover towards the bottom. Maybe you have the tops of the feet in the floor and the thighs lift up for a little bit of up dog. Or maybe you keep your legs on the floor and just lift your chest for a little cobra. And then exhale, send your hips back towards your heels. We're coming back into child's pose. Take a couple moments, take a couple breaths, and just already notice or try to take notice. Does your body feel any different than when we got started today? We're back in the same posture. Presumably, you feel a bit warmer, some more blood flowing through your extremities, especially if you've been sitting at your desk or just sitting around before we got started. All right, walk your hands in, come into a kneeling position, either actually sitting on your heels, or if sitting on your heels is too much, you can also just kneel right here for a moment. Make a couple circles with your wrists, relax through your chest again. Change the direction of your wrist circles. All right, move number one. Remember, we're doing everything twice. 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. Some moves will be the same thing 2 times in a row. Other moves might be right side, left side. We're going to stick with that awesome child's pose we were just in, and we're going to work into a push-up. So the push-up's going to be on your knees. So starting with hands palms as far forward as feels good for you, which might mean still a really short arms forward so that you just lift up into tabletop. Well, a little bit less of a child's pose, I guess. Because we're all going to lift ourselves up into tabletop or take this little shift forward. Elbows stay close by your side. Feet can stay on the floor as you lower yourself down, but you're thinking about keeping your body as straight as possible. So you're not lowering your belly down. We're not doing cobra waves to get the chest down towards the floor. We are lowering ourselves like we are light as a feather and stiff as a board. All right, so let's start these child's pose to push-ups in 3, 2, 1. Begin. So keep some pressure in your hands, palms, shift the weight forward. Slowly lower yourself down. Elbows are working towards the hips, and then press yourself up and back. Check in and see as you press yourself back up, can you also stay stiff as a board, or are you leading with one part of your body versus another? If you find that you just are really struggling, then A, everyone take a break. But B, in round two, shorten your stance so that you can get this push up in right here from tabletop to really bring that chest forward. Eye gaze comes forward, nose mouth coming towards the floor, and then you can still send your glutes back towards your heels and find a nice stretch in your upper back. That felt great. Let's begin. I'm going to do it just like that. So, still making sure before I find the actual push up that I'm not sinking into my shoulders before I push up. A big push into the chest. Chest is coming towards the triceps, and then lowering down with control and lifting yourself back up, and then finding that big stretch back, giving some love to your back, to your shoulders, and then back into your push up. So maybe you just don't go down all the way today because you're doing your best. And that's okay. I would rather you take a break, that little push up, and actually feel it working. All right, next up, we're going to go for a world's greatest stretch. So we're coming into a plank, and then one foot's going to step forward and find a nice twist. If you need to, you can bring your back knee down towards the floor. Let's start right now. So up into your plank, I'm starting with right foot coming forward and extending right arm up towards the ceiling to try and stack shoulders. Right hand comes back down towards the floor. Right leg goes back into the plank. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, left arm up. Just like we talked about before, I want you to think about squeezing your inner thighs in towards each other. So there's a big draw and engagement towards the center line of the body. We got a couple seconds left right here. If you need a break, remember, you can take it a little bit easier by bringing that back knee down to the floor. Now, 20 seconds of rest. Maybe come off your wrists, give them a couple shakes. Maybe turn to the bird and say, "Stop it, Fred." All right, everyone. I hope you also stop it, Fred. All right, 3, 2, 1. So if you need an extra modification, even right here from tabletop, one foot comes forward, just finding this big stretch, and then stepping it right back. There's something for everyone here today, except you, Fred, who needs to stop plucking the rungs of the cage. When I was little, my mom used to keep socks in the living room, and when Fred would get annoying, he would throw socks at the bird. We got 5 seconds left. Keep this great plank form, hips nice and low. 2, 1. Awesome. Take a break. Next up, we're going to go for a 3-legged dog into a mountain climber. You don't have to stand up. I'm just trying to drive the word. So 3-legged dog into a single leg mountain climber. Let's start with just the right leg in 3, 2, 1. So press yourself up into that 3-legged dog. Chest stays squared to the floor, and then driving that knee towards your elbow. Now you can switch where your knee is coming each time. So maybe next time it comes through closer to the nose, and then send it back up towards the sky. And then it comes through closer towards the opposite tricep. We'll just stick with this leg for the next 10 seconds. This is a warm up for the standing splits that are going to come up next. 3, 2, 1. Take a break. Ooh, I'm using a new mat and it is slippery. That's an element of danger. All right. Now we're just going to do the same thing, but with your other leg leading. If you're having trouble with the 3-legged dog, stay right here in tabletop and find that extension. Otherwise, begin. So either just staying right here, still really extending that back leg behind you and up, working to keep your chest squared towards the floor so you're not rotating through your hip too much as you extend that leg up and back. You can still really work to challenge and find a deeper range of motion here with the slight momentum that you can get from your leg extending up and back. All right. Fun times. Bring your block. For this next move, we're going to come into a standing split. Hands can be down on the block, leg up towards the ceiling. You're going to bend your front knee, bring your extended leg towards the back, and then bend it right back up. All right, here we go. So we're in a split, bending your standing leg, weight is in your heel, your lifted leg comes close, taps behind the knee, and then extends back up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your chest squared towards the floor so you're not rotating out to whichever leg your lifted leg is going. Eye gaze gently down on the floor. You're just moving with your breath. 3 seconds left right here. 2, 1. I'm going to stay in this dangle for a moment. Get that big stretch into the hamstrings, little sway side to side, little stretch into the hips because we got the other leg coming up in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite leg is stretched up into your split. Chest is squared towards the floor. Weights in your standing leg heel. Bend the knee. Knee comes behind knee. And then toe extends up towards the ceiling. Keep checking in each time that toe extends up to make sure you're not rotating out towards the side. So we talked so much earlier about squeezing your inner thighs a little bit and towards each other. Eye gaze is just down on the standing leg toe, keeping any extra wrinkles out of the neck. One side might have been easier than the other. All right, this next one is fun balance. We're going to bring the block on the floor behind us. You're going to stand in front of the block. You're going to step back into kneeling, knee touches down on the block, then stand forward, slow kick forward. Nice and slow on that kick. Ready? Let's do it. Hands can be at your hips for balance, knee drive, and then squeeze that quad to kick your heel forward, toes flex back towards the face. You don't have to have this block behind you. You can bring your knee all the way down towards the floor for a little extra challenge, but make sure you're keeping this kick slow and you're doing your best to keep that chest up nice and high. Keep the weight big time in your standing heel. Take a moment, shake it out. Maybe give yourself some hip circles. Adjust your block as you need to so that you can reach it with your knee as you step back. And then other leg is just going to step forward, kick forward. Let's do it. Reminder, both sides of the body are not the same. Which side was easier for you? I had a lot more range of motion in my other leg kicking forward. This leg's quad has been really tight. No excuses though, because we're still doing it. We got just one more move to go after this. It really takes some good ab work to find that knee drive and kick that heel forward. So great job. All right. Next up, we've got a single leg jackknife. Jessica. All right. So right foot and left arm are going to meet each other, elbow to knee crunch, and then kick up, finger and toe touch. Begin. You can lift your head up off of the mat and lift shoulders up off of the mat. Maybe even applying a little bit of pressure into your right hand, left heel to help you find this big lift, or keep your mid back on the mat and just find a little bit of a lift in your shoulders and be a little bit easier. This is intended to be a challenging move though. We're just sticking with that one side, getting a good bicycle crunch, and then up, single leg toe touch is basically what's happening. I'll take a break. One more time, other side, and then we get back to stretching. We can forget about all this hard work. You ready? So right foot presses into the floor, left hand gently presses into the floor, and your right elbow and left knee are going to meet. Here we go. Right elbow, left knee meet. Shoulder comes up off the mat, lower back stays down, and then there is a lift of the lower back. Really trying to use that exhale, the core, to lift yourself up more than pressing your hands or your heel into the floor. But if you need a little bit of assist of hand and heel, pushing into the floor to find that contraction to lift yourself up, then go for it. And if you're still like 100% muscling through the floor, maybe take out that actual lift and focus more on just using your breath. Every exhale, really squeezing, tightening at the center line. Oh my gosh, we did it, y'all. Go ahead, bend your knees, soles of the feet on the floor, mat width distance apart. Open your arms nice and wide, windshield wipe your legs right and left in opposite directions. Okay, heel toe your feet in just a little bit, about one time. Keep your left foot where it is. Inhale your right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Point and flex your toe. Make some circles with your ankle, whatever feels good. Just a quick little bout or burst of free movement. And then cross your right ankle over the left thigh. It shouldn't be jamming the ankle bone into the thigh, but we're not going for a super deep cross. As much space between your legs as possible. Take the first couple of breaths to stretch your right knee down in line with your hip. Feel that big opening on the front right side hip flexor. Stretch your arms back out towards the side. Legs are going to stay wide as you start to bring the inside of the left knee down towards the floor. You can keep your right foot on top of the left leg for a little extra stretch through the outer left hip. Two more slow breaths here. We're going to uncross our legs before we lift them back up. So carefully release the right leg from on top of the left, and then bring both knees back to center. Press into your feet, ground your back into the mat once again. And this time, inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. Point and flex your toe a couple times. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction and then the opposite direction. And then cross your left leg over your right. Work to bring those two knees in one line. Big opening on the front left side hip flexor. Keep your arms stretched out towards the side, and then slowly begin to bring the inner part of the right knee down towards the floor. If that's really uncomfortable, then take the cross out already and just enjoy a really wide legged twist. A little bit less of a spine twist, a little bit more of a hip focused inner thigh delight. Two more breaths. Then go ahead, uncross your legs and carefully bring both knees back up towards the ceiling. Implant your lower back on the mat and draw your legs up one at a time. You can keep your knees nice and wide, or you can squeeze your knees in towards each other. Try to bring the backs of the shoulders, the back of the head more down on the mat than it had been. If your two knees are squeezing in towards each other, getting a nice little stimulation of the transverse colon, a little less pressure on the lower belly if your legs are apart. Awesome. Take a moment. Let's rock ourselves up like a ball and then turn over into tabletop. Give yourself a cat and give yourself a cow. Find your neutral tabletop one more time. Tuck your toes under, send your hips to the ceiling. Walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. Ground through your heels. Take a generous bend of your knees. Take 2 breaths. Feel the backside ribs expand and contract with your breath. And then slowly roll yourself up one more time. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale your arms all the way up at the top. Maybe even look up, extra stretch on those abs. And then exhale, chin comes to chest, arms relax down by your side. Awesome. That's all the time that we have for today. I hope that you're finishing feeling awesome. I know I do. Can't wait to see you again on Friday for some delightful yin. Have a great day till then. Bye.